Hello everyone, today we're learning Daf Samech Vov. So we ended up on last Daf saying that the Machloikes Beishamai and Beisilel is Shinui Koine. If someone takes an item and changes the item, let's say takes olives, and a Ganev takes olives, let's say, and now he makes it into olive oil, do we say now this is a new item and this belongs to the Ganev, and when he pays back the owner he only has to give him the value, or this olive oil belongs still to the original owner? Or in a different case, talking about Esnan, that's where they have the Machloikes, it's talking about payment for relations for Zoina. Someone paid her money a sheep, so the din Esnan Zoina is also for the Mizbeach. You're not allowed to bring the sheep as a korban. The shaila is what happens if someone paid as a payment to a Zoina, someone paid her olives or grapes or wheat, and she went and made it into flour, into olive oil, into wine. Can this new item be brought up as to the Mizbeach as Nesochim, etc.? And we had the Machloikes, Beishamai say it's forbidden because it's still considered Esnan, and Beisilel say no, it's a new item, and then this new item is not the old item what you got as a payment, and therefore you could bring it up and brought it up as a Mizbeach. Says the Gemara. So we saw this yesterday, we saw this last page, and now let's see the source of this Machloikes. Says the Gemara, my time at the Beishamai. Let's read quickly just before that. The Tanya, someone gave a woman be'esnan chitin v'oson tzoyles eisim v'oson shemen anovim v'oson yain. Ton echad also, one bright says also to Mizbeach, and ton echad muta. V'omer b'yosef ton gurin the Masperi, he explains it. Beishamai oisrim, because they hold it's still considered the same item and it's still a esnan. U'besilel matirim, and Beisilel will say it's muta to Mizbeach. This is a new item. It's nothing to do with the first item that was given to her. It's a new mitzvah. My time in the Beishamai, what's pshat in Beishamai, what's their source? Tichsiv gam. So let's read the pasuk a second inside. The pasuk Vov over here on Torah Shalom. Lo yisovi esnan zoino u'chi kele beis Hashem. Someone should not bring the price that was paid for zoino as a korban. Elokecho lechon neder ki toevas Hashem elokecho. It's a toeva to God. Gam shneim, both of them, also both of them. So Beishamai hold, Chsiv Gam, also, why is it also coming to say? It's mashma, not only them, also, Gam Rabbi Shinuyem, to include not only the item itself, the olives, also where you changed it into olive oil. Ubesilel Heim, it says Shnei Hem. Hem is mashma as they are. Heim veloy Shinuyem, and not where you changed it into. Ubeshamai Ahu Heim. That it says Heim, Shnei Hem, it means the same, that if someone gave a woman a cow and this cow had a baby, so the baby you could bring as a korban. But if you change a cow to a different type of a cow, you're still not allowed to bring the actual cow as a korban. Hudasa, that's where it's coming from. Ubesilel tartish masmino. You learn from Heim both things. Heim veloy shnuyim, them and not what you change them into. Heim, them veloy the and not their babies. Says the Gemara, Shaila or Beisilel aksiv gam. The Chora, what Beisilel do with gam, and gam comes to include also gam le Beisilel kashya. Says the Gemara, we don't really know what will Beisilel do with gam. It's really shver because the Chora, it's coming to include something. Why is it coming to include? Says the Gemara, ad kaloi pligi, until here no one argues ela dema sova shinu koina. One holds Shinui is koina. That means when we said before we had on Omid Samichem and base we had a Machloikes between Rabbi Lo and Rab Chanina about a baby cow that became a calf that became an ox and a baby sheep that became a ram, and we said, is that considered a shinui or is it not considered a shinui? Rabbi Lo said that's called a shinui and therefore it becomes a ganev when it becomes an adult. And now if he slaughtered it, he's potter from Dalit V'Hei. And Rab Chanina argued in that. So it's more said, Ad kar leplige el ma'asova shinu koina ma'asova ein shinu koina. The argue is that by a baby animal becoming adult? Does that mean that shinui is that could consider the shinui that you're koine or not? Aval in shlumi, but regarding payment, meaning kefel for Rabbi Loi, because if you're Rabbi Loi, you'll be potter for Dalet Vehei, Shaloi Tovech Shaloi Moicher, but Dalet Vehei to Rab Chanina, Kedemikor Mishalem, he pays like Shas Agneva. Why? Diktoni, that it says, Mishalem Tashlumi Kefel, Tashlumi Arba V'chamisha, Kein Shigonav, that he pays Tashlumi Kefel, Tashlumi Arba V'chamisha, it says in the Brisa, like Shas Agneva. Yeah. Let's say this is a shaila on Rav, because Rav said that kefel and dalet vehei you pay kishas hamoda bedim. Doma Rav said keren kein shigonav mishalem, but tashlumi kefel and tashlumi dalet vehei double and 4 and 5 kishas hamoda bedin, like when you take into bezdin. So it's a kash on Rav, they both argue in him, or at least it's a shaila, do they argue with him? Omarova tloim kedemikor, domim keshel achshov. Let's see Tosis on this. Niruluri tloim kedemikor nirul the achipurusha dil inyan klevenase ail. If it was a baby and it became big, or chushav and he spat more, or if it was weak and it became fat, or ipcha, or it was the opposite, it became weaker. Kefel nami v'chein dalet v'hei kedemikor kimoiker. Then you pay like it was worth at the beginning, because things changed over here. He made it fat or he made it weak, so therefore we say he pays like Shas Agneva. Aval domim, what does that mean? The Ainu Yukra Vazula going up and down in price, Keshel Achshov, then that you pay like going down, that you pay like the value now. Sheshomim oisoi tole shel Shas Agneva lefi gadlusoi katnusoi shel Shas Agneva lefi Yukra Vazula da'ashto. So, meaning, basically we're saying, when did Rabbi Loya and Rabbi Chanina speak? They're talking about whether the difference in the actual size of the animal. And then you pay like when he stole it. But in a case where the size of the animal is the same, the only thing that changed is a value, then you pay Dalet Vehei and Kefel like now, like Rav said. So they're not choilek on Rav. So Omar Rav, Tloim Kedimikora. If it changed in the size of the animal, then you say kishas agneva. But domim, if there's a change only in the value, kishalachshov, you pay kefel and dalet ve'ei, like now, like what Rav said. So it's no shaila on Rav. Omar Rabba, says Rabba Chiddush, shinui koina. That shinui is koina, meaning if someone stole, let's say, wool, and he made it into a jumper, that ksiva, it's a fursh or pasuk, and that the ganev is koina, it's his jumper, and all he has to pay is the value of the wool. Vetanina, and we learned in a brisa. Ksiva, where did it say it? Ve'ishi v'sagzeila asher gozal. So it says he will give back, he should return the gzela that he stole. Why did it say he should give back the gzela? Why is asher goza that he stole? Obviously the one he stole. So why is it coming to tell you? It's coming to tell you im kein shegozal, if it's like it's the same item like he stole it, meaning he stole wool and it's still wool, yachzeh, then he should give back the wool because it belongs to the owner. V'im lav, if he changed it into a jumper, Domim ba'alma boy shlumi, just has to pay the value of the wool, but he doesn't have to give back the other jumper. So that's a shinui b'yadayim, a physical shinui is koine, is a mefrosh pasuk, from a drosha, from a pasuk. Tanina, we learned in a mission, in a brisa, a goizeleitzim, someone who steals, it's a mission I think, someone who steals wood, v'ason kelim, someone steals a plank of wood and made it into a chair, Tzemer, someone steals wool, v'asom godim and made it into a jumper, mishalim kishas akzeila, you pay the value of the wood, the value of the wool, but you don't pay the value of the chair, the value of the jumper, because shinu is koina. First Mishnah. Inami, I have another Brisa Mishnah to tell you. Lo yispik lisna lo yachetzavoi. So there is a din that when you shear your wool off your sheep, you have to give the beginning, the first part to the kohen. So lo yispik lisna lo, to give it to the kohen. Achetzavoi, until he painted it and now it has a color, now they're all red, potter. He doesn't have to give it anymore to the kohen. Why not? Because Alma Shinui Koina, because he made the Shinui, it becomes his, and he's Koiner it. So says Rabbi until now, I know that Shinui is Koina, it's a Pasuk, it's a Mishnais. What's the din Yush? What's the din if someone, Reuben stole from Shimon an item, and Shimon was Misyai, she said, Oi, I give up on this item. Amru Rabbanon de Nikni. I know that the din is that now Reuben doesn't have to give back the actual item, he can pay back money. Miu, but lo adinan ideraisa, is it from the Torah? Iderabonon. Oh, it's a din derabonon, the Rabbanon will metaken. Now he's going to explain his suffix a bit more. Ideraisa, is it deraisa midei dava moitza aveda? Like someone who finds a lost item. Moitza Aveda, someone who finds an item lav, isn't it so? Kevin de miyash mori minei, if the owner had you said, oh, I'm misyash from this item that I lost, mikamei de tisile before it came into the hands of the guy who found it, konile becomes his. It's like hefka. Ahainami, so also here by someone a ganev, Kevin de miyash mora, since the owner gave up on it, konile the ganev, it becomes a ganev, and the ganev only has to pay back the value. Al Mekoni, so we could see Yush as Koina. Or Dilma, or maybe Loidami la Aveda. It's not similar to Aveda. Why not? Aveda, who the reason why Yush is Koina Dichi Oseliode, when this guy found this item in the street and the owner was already gave up on it, Betir Oseliode, he picked it up and it's no problem to pick it up, it's his. It's like Hefka. Avalahai, this Ganev, Kevin de Bisra Oseliodi, when he stole it, he was a Ganev, it was forbidden to do that. So therefore, Yush doesn't work. But Midarabonanu, the only reason why it becomes says Yush, because Rabbanon wanted to make it easy for someone who steals something to do tshuva, they will only have to pay back the value and he won't have to pay back the actual item. So therefore Rabbanon made the takana that Yush works. So I know Yush works, but I don't know if it's a din deraisa or it's only a takana sashavim that Rabbanon will metaken. Is it deraisa like Ashavas Aveda, or it's different to Ashavas Aveda because Ashavas Aveda comes Be'etera and this is not Be'etera? And the reason why it works is takana sashavim, a special takana derabbanon. Rabbi Yosef argues, Rabbi Yosef Yush ein koine v'afilu midrabanon, that even midrabanon, there's no, for sure midraisa it's not koina, and it's not doima to aveda that comes by Torah. And midrabanon it's also not koina. If someone steals an item, Reuben steals an item from Shimon, and Shimon says, oh yeah, give up on it. And now he catches Reuben and takes him to Bezdin, Reuben has to pay back the item he stole, and he can't give back the value. He argues on Rabbah. Rabbah says it's for sure Yush works also by Gneva. The Shaila if it's Deraisa or Rabbanon. Rabbah says even with Rabbanon it doesn't work. Eisiv Rav Yosef l'Rabbah. Rav Yosef has a Shaila to Rabbah who says Yush is koina by Ganev. Gozal chometz, someone stole a loaf of bread that's chometz from his friend. V'aval av a Pesach, he stole it on Rosh Chodesh Nisan, and now Pesach went over, now we're in Rosh Chodesh Iyar. What's the din? The Ganev could say, the Gazlan could say, here's your loaf of bread, please take it. And he doesn't have to pay. The high, in such a case, came in the Mota Idin Isura since the time of Issa came, meaning Yudaled in the afternoon came, and it's also to keep Chometz then, Vadei miyayish. For sure the owner gave Yush on this loaf of bread. He said, I don't want this loaf of bread, it's Chometz, even if he comes back to me. And if you're going to tell me that Yush is koina, how can the Ganev say, the Gazlan say, here's your item, he should have to pay him full value of the loaf of bread in Rosh Chodesh Nisan, a full good loaf of bread, because he's koine it be Yush, and now it's your loaf of bread, you can't give it back, and now it's worth nothing, this loaf of bread, so you should pay the full value. Omalei, Rabbi answered Rabbi Yosef, Kika mino ano, when did I speak about the Yush's koina, the Misyash, when the owner gave up the Roitze Liknus and the Ganev or the Gazlan wants to be koina? Aha, in this case, the Misyash, the owner gave up, but then the Roitze Liknus, but also the Gazlan doesn't want to be koina, because even though he's a Gazlan, Pesach, he doesn't want to be over in a chorus, he doesn't want to have chometz on Pesach, so since he doesn't want to be koina, it doesn't become his. So therefore, you could say Areish l'chol lefanecho. Eisi ve'Abaye l'Rabba. Abaye asked a shaila on Rabba, how could you tell me Yush's koina? It says in a pasuk korbonoi v'lo yagozul. What's a pasuk? Let's read the inside. Im oila korbonoi, if someone brings a korban oila, a full korban to Beis Hamikdash, that's fully to the mizbeach. So we learn from the word korbono, your korban, v'lo yagozul, no stolen korban. Says the Abaye, Eichidomi, what's the case of this stolen animal that he wants to bring as a korban? Ilei malifne yush, if it's talking about that Reuven stole an animal from Shimon, and Shimon didn't give it up, and now Reuven wants to bring this as a korban, lo malikro, why do you need a pasuk? Pshita, it's not Reuven's, he's not koine it anyway. It's not his, it's Shimon's. How could Reuven bring a korban and it should be good? Elolav, it must be talking about La'acher Yush. It must be talking about that Shimon was Misyash. And still the Torah tells you, Korbonoi, that's not yours and it's not, you can't bring out a korban. Because if Yush works, it should be his now. Shma minyo Yush loy koni. Let's bring a raya from here that Yush is not koina, at least from the Raisa. Omale Rova, or Omale Rova, the Chor have to be Gurish Rabba. Okay, or before you Gurish Rova. Omale Rova, Ulitameich. Okay, the way you're learning, how are you going to learn this Brisa? Hodetanya, it says in the Brisa, Hodetanya, Mishkovoi, there's a special din of a zav. That's a type of tumah. That's similar to Shechva Zera, but it's more Chumra Dikatuma. It says Mishkovoi, that if he lays down on a Mishkov, on a mattress, let's read the pasuk inside, the Ish Asher Iga Mishkovoi, and someone who's a Zov, someone's Torah who touches the Mishkav, something that the Zov laid on it, he becomes Tomeh, V'rochatz b'mayim, V'tomeh ha'orev, and he becomes Tomeh till the night after he goes to Mikvah. So we darshan over there in the Brisa Mishkovoi Dafka v'lo yagozul Dafka, if this Mishkovoi belongs to the Zav and not a stolen one. Eichidomi Abaye, how Abaye, how does this, what the case? Ilem the Gozal Amra v'avdei Mishkov, he stole wool and he made it into a mattress. Mika lemandoma shinu ma'aser lo koni, is there a shitta that hold that shinui of an item that from wool you make into a mattress, you're not koina? And the Tosis discussed there is Beishamai, but we don't want to go lefi Beishamai. What are you talking about over here? The Goza Mishkav the Chavrei. It's talking about where he stole a mattress of his friend. And the chiddush of the Torah is that even though that he lay on this mattress, because this mattress doesn't belong to him, it's not metamerit, a gross chiddush. Tosis doesn't really like it, but that's the way l'chor pshat in Rashi. Ochinami also over here, the Gozal Korban the Chavrei. It's also about where he stole a sheep from his friend and tried to bring her the korban. Reuven stole Shimon's korban and he brought out the korban. And the chiddush of the Torah is that it's talking about, let's go lefi the second pshat in Rashi. Lishnachruna the Gozal Korban the Chavrei ilkach afilu acha yush lo ikane, the korban ein nigzal the chol eichet eisa because the rachmana isa. So it's talking about where he stole Shimon's korban. So even if Shimon was Misyash, Reuven is not koiner it, because this korban of Shimon belongs to Beis Hamikdash. So Shimon can be Misyash all he wants, but Beis Hamikdash will not Misyash from it. So therefore, Reuven was never koiner it. But in an item that's not a korban, and Shimon was Misyash, Enochenami, Yush could be koiner. So that's how I'm answering. That it says, Korbanah v'lo yagosel, it's after Yush, and the Chiddush says, yeah, because it's a korban and Shimon's Yush doesn't help anything. Rashi has another pshat, Ayin Shom. Eisi ve'Abai le Rabbi Yosef. Rabbi Yosef holds Yush is no koiner, asks Abai a kash on him. It says, shel balabais. Leather of balabais. So, a balabais means not a person that's his business, a guy who's a homeowner, a private person, who has a piece of leather, he skinned his cow, and he has a nice piece of leather from the cow. Machshava, now he thought, okay, what should I do with this piece of leather? Now we know that something to be mikabel tumah needs to be a keli. Let's say a piece of a tree, even though that's not connected to the tree, is not mikabel tumah because it's not keli. But a cup, a plate, is mikabel tumah. So this person, this balabais, had a piece of leather, and he had machshava, I want to make from it a tablecloth. He could make from it shoes, and if you make from it shoes, it's not yet a keli because it's still just a piece of leather. It's not keli and it's not metame. But he decided, I want to make a tablecloth, so it's ready. Just throw it on the table, and you have a beautiful cow tablecloth for Shabbos. So that day you thought in machshava, I want to make a tablecloth. It's ready. It's now a tablecloth. It's a keli. Now it's mikabel tumah. But what about a leather maker, someone who has a shop of leather that he makes leather for the public to sell? Even if he thought, okay, I'm going to make this a tablecloth, his machshava doesn't make it into a keli to mikabel tumah, because if someone's going to offer to buy off him, he's going to sell it to him, and that person maybe wants to use it to make shoes. Shel ganev. If a ganev stole a piece of leather and he thought now to make it into a tablecloth, machshava metamoson, thinking to make it a tablecloth, it becomes a keli and it's mitkabel tumah. Shel gazlin, but the opposite. Gazlin is someone who steals with a robber, someone who steals with a gun, comes in middle of the day with a big M16 and it says, give me this piece of leather. Ein machshava, now he thought I'll make it into a tablecloth. Ein machshava metamoson. Thinking to make it a tablecloth doesn't make it tumah. So we could see a ganev yes and a gazla not. So let's see Rashi, what's the difference? Shel ganev machshava metamoson dekanonu biyush, because there was yush, the kosova stam gneva yush bailim if delo yada al man nitve. Because the ganev, the guy came at night, I don't know who to sue. I don't know who I will sue. So therefore the owner says, oh, I'm misyaesh. And we could see Yush is koina. The ganev it's his now, so now it's his. His machshava is like balabais, and it makes a tomeh. Masha'enken a gazlin. I saw who that guy was with the M16. I'm going to take him to Bezdin, and Bezdin's going to give me back my piece of leather. So I'm not miyayish. Therefore, his machshava is nothing because it's not his leather. Rab Shimon says no. Chiluf advarim. We turn it over between a ganev and a gazlin. Shel gazlin. If the guy, the robber who stole with a gun, machshava metamosom, if he thinks to make it into a tablecloth, it's machshava makes it tomeh. Why? Because the guy came with an M16, so when I take him to Bezdin, he's going to turn up to the Bezdin with an M16. I won't have anything to do with it. So I give up. I have yush, and therefore it becomes his, and therefore the machshava is metamerit. Vishel ganev, masha'enken, if a ganev, that he was scared and he came at night to steal, ein machshava metamosom, lefi shelo nisyash ha'bailim, because the bailim were no misyash. Because I say, very well, I don't know who stole it, I'm going to look at the footprints, I'm going to get someone who's check his DNA and his fingerprints, I'm going to find who it is. The guy is a coward, he came in the middle of the night, when I take him to Bezdin, he'll quickly pay me. So I'm no misyash, so therefore his machshava is no metamerit, because it's not his item. Vishmamino, what we could see from here, the whole argument is where they use, by a ganev, by a gazlin, is it the opposite? But Shmamino yush koina, we could see where there is yush, it's koina, and his machshava makes it into a keli. So lecher we could see clearly that yush is koina. How did Rabbi Yosef say yush doesn't koina by a ganev? Or malay, Rabbi Yosef answered, ochim ma'askinan kigoyin shekitzon. It's talking about with this ganev or this gazlin made some alterations to it. So in such a case, that is also yush and also shinimaisa, then for sure you be koina. And therefore, yush together with shinimaisa is koina. Masha'en ken yush by itself won't be koina. So that's the territory of Yosef to the Shaila. Matkif lo rabba barav nochonon. Rabbi Chonon doesn't like this teretz. V'aloi itzvo shonu kan. We're talking about over here to make it like into a tablecloth. Says Rashi, v'aloi itzvo shonu kan shechoshav aleim leitzva dul beki shoichlim olav v'kein shulchanu. It's like a table. To make it like a tablecloth. And we're going to see in a second how we know that we're talking about that. V'itzva ain't. Sorry, we're going to see in a second something else. V'itzva, and to make it into a tablecloth ain't tzricha kitzua. You don't need any alterations. Just by thinking that it's a tablecloth, it's already a tablecloth. Vitnan. Because it says over there in the Mishnah, Kol mokom shein chisoron milocha. Anyway, wait for this item to be an item. You don't need any work. Machshava metamosoi. Just thinking to make it into an item makes it already a keli and it's mekabel tuma. Yesh chisoron milocha. If to make the item I want to make it into, we still need to change this item. Let's say it's a piece of wood and I think, I want to make a chair out of it. But making a chair, you need to start cutting, sticking, screwing. So, yesh chisoron milocha, ein machshava metamos. I'm thinking I'm going to make a chair out of it. It doesn't make it mikabel tuma until it actually becomes a chair. Chutz mina itzva. The only exception is a tablecloth. That even though they need a bit of work done to it, that work is no ma'akev into making it into a tablecloth. And even without the work, even just thinking of making a tablecloth, even if you didn't do that work, it's all like a chair. It's already mikabel tova. So how can you tell me, Rav Yosef, a teretz over here? Oh, he told me where he didn't do kitzua. But even without kitzua, it's already mikabel tuma. Elo marova, says Rova, hi milsa, this kasha, koshibo, Rabba Rav Yosef, Rabba asked Rav Yosef, Esrun retartin shnin. Rabba asked Rav Yosef on his shita, and Rav Yosef had it shver for 22 years, he never had a teretz. Below Ifriki, I never had a teretz. Adi Yosef Rav Yosef Bereishe, until Rav Yosef became the Rosh Hashiva. It's a whole story between Rabba and Rav Yosef, who should be Rosh Hashiva, Ayin Shom. And after 20 years, Rabbi Yosef became the Rosh Hashiva, and then he had lots of terutzim to lots of kashas he was asked. Uparke, and he had the teretz. Shinui Hashem ki shinui ma'aseh domi. That changing the name of an item, it's ki shinui ma'aseh domi. It's like changing a wood into a chair. Like shinui ma'aseh, like wool into a jumper or wood into a chair, is a shinui ma'aseh, and it's koina. Also, when you change something from a piece of leather and now it becomes a tablecloth, that's also called a shinui, and you'll be koina with that shinui. So shinui ma'aseh my time. Why is shinui ma'aseh koina also mikor eitzim? At the beginning it's just a piece of wood, ashta kelim. Now it's a keli. Now it's a chair. Now it's a table. Now it's a closet. And therefore it's a new item, and therefore you're koina. Shinui Hashem is the same. Nami meikor kol mashcha. At the beginning you call it just a piece of leather. The ashta barzin, and now it's a piece of it's a tablecloth. And therefore over here by the machshava with the yush works to be koina, and therefore because there is a shinui ma'aseh, not really shinui ma'aseh, shinui Hashem. Now it's called the tablecloth. That shinui Hashem, that what makes it become the ganev or the gazlan, and that's why his machshava is metamerit. And that's a teretz to the kasha after 22 years. He never gave up. Okay, I think we're going to leave it over here. Thank you very much. Everyone should have a very, very good night.